So I don't know about you, but I'm almost always disappointed whenever I have green bean casserole. It's mushy, it's overcooked, there's not that much mushroom flavor. I'm gonna show you my way, and oh my gosh, is it so good. So this is definitely gonna be different than your grandma's green bean casserole because we are gonna use French green beans, also known as haricot verts. We are gonna blanch them, pre-boil them, chill them. We're gonna make a delicious, creamy, roasted mushroom garlic bacon sauce. Whoa, is it good? We're gonna start off with a little bit of prep. Sound good? Let's cook. I've got a few pounds of haricot verts, which is just a French term for string bean. And they're a little bit firmer, a little bit straighter than maybe a typical green bean that you would find at the grocery store. What we're gonna do is just slice the end off. And in fact, if you wanted to make these more bite-sized pieces, feel free to cut them in half or even into fourths. Totally up to you. We're gonna set them to the side in a bowl. And then what we're going to do is take that right over to a large pot of boiling salted water. Remember, the water should be as salty as the ocean. We are going to let these cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. Give them a quick stir just to make sure you're moving everything that's on top to the bottom and vice versa. Once it is done cooking, what we're going to do is take out that strainer, give it a good shake, get all that hot water off there, because we are headed right over to my kitchen sink. I've got a large container, you can use another pot, full of ice water. This process is known as shocking the green beans. We want to cool them as quickly as possible. And look, if you have no access to haricot verts, don't sweat it. Just buy regular old green beans, trim them up, because they have the exact same cooking time in that boiling water as the haricot verts. Speaking of those, we need to get them drained out of that ice cold water. Why? Because if you let them sit in there all day, they're going to get waterlogged and you're going to be in that same old mushy mess as you would have been if you would have popped a can of green beans and throw it in there. We don't want that. What we do need to do is knock out a bit more prep. Let's go. We want big mushroom flavor, my friends. So I'm going to use a combination of button and baby bella mushrooms. Any mushroom is good here. You could use portobello, oyster, shiitakes, you name it. To slice them, what I like to do is slice the end off and roll it over to sort of stabilize the mushroom so it's not rocking back and forth. Let's do it again. Slice the end, turn it over on the flat side, and then slice away. Add it to a bowl and then set them to the side. I've got a few slices of bacon. This is going to add some fantastic flavor. What we simply want to do is slice these up into little bacon lardons. And for the garlic, geez, at this point, you already know it's going right through a press. One of the last things we need to prep up are onions. I absolutely love using pearl onions, and if you want to see a great way on how to get them out of that outside peel really easily, check out my Coco Vaughn video. You're going to be blown away. It's an absolute game changer. If you don't want to use pearl onions, or don't even have access to them, do a yellow, a sweet, or a white onion. Now it's time to start cooking. It's going to move very quick. Hold on. Here we go. In a large cast iron skillet or frying pan over medium heat, we're going to add the bacon right there. What we want to do is crisp these up. Make sure they are very brown, just like you would see at a Sunday breakfast next to your eggs. Get them very browned up, and then using a slotted spoon or any sort of straining spoon, just get all that goodness in there and then set them to the side in a little bowl. Head back over to that pot. That rendered bacon fat should be smoking over medium heat. We're going to crank it to medium-high heat, add in our mushrooms, followed up by adding in all of those onions. Again, I'm using pearl onions here. What we want to do is take the time to caramelize these up. This will help take the flavor of this entire casserole to a whole other level. Honestly, it's going to really make this dish. So make sure everything is very brown. This should take in between 10 and 15 minutes to do this process. At this point, what we're going to do is add in our garlic. Give it a really quick little mix in. Like they say, once you can smell garlic, it's already done cooking. So it should only take 30 seconds to maybe 1 minute. And then at this point, we're going to add in some all-purpose flour because we want to create a roux. So after you sprinkle it in, use a spoon or even a whisk, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Mix in all of the ingredients until the flour is completely into the mushrooms and onions. Now using some really good chicken stock, I've got a great homemade recipe for you. Pour it in there, turn the heat down to medium, and this should thicken within 2 to 3 minutes. It should be very, very quickly. It's almost like a very thick gravy, but at this point, we're not done. We want to add a little bit more fat here, so I'm going to be putting in some heavy whipping cream. It's going to sort of cream these mushrooms and chicken stock, and it's really going to provide some fantastic flavor here. Mix it in until it is completely combined, and it will be very, very thick and look absolutely delicious. Kind of will remind you of Alfredo sauce. Don't forget about that bacon. Add that crisp bacon back in there. Plus, I've got some fresh thyme, which we're going to put in there. It's going to really, honestly, elevate this. Season it very well with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. And then, of course, just using your spoon that you've been doing the whole time, give it all a stir until it is combined. Be sure to taste it at this point. It's so dang good.
So here's the point about green bean casserole that never made sense. I've got this beautiful, delicious, thick, flavorful sauce. I've got blanched green beans that are perfectly cooked, like the kind you would get next to a filet mignon at a really nice restaurant. Why would I put these things together, throw them in the oven and forget about them so everything comes out mushy? I wouldn't, right? Exactly. But what we are going to do is add these green beans right in, give it a little toss. We're going to put it in the oven only at 225 degrees. What we really want to do is keep it warm, because what we're going to do next is make some homemade fried onions for the top.
You know me, I like to use pie tins, so we're going to add an egg right to that pie tin, followed up with some whole milk. Then using a fork or a whisk, whatever you're comfortable with, whisk it until it is mixed together. We're going to set it to the side, grab a new tin, we're going to add some flour, and then we're going to season it well with salt and pepper. Feel free to taste it. Make sure the flour is seasoned. Totally okay to do. A little bit of paprika for some color. Then again, using a fork or even a whisk, mix it until it is combined. And now I've got a peeled small to medium sized yellow onion. We're just going to run it out of mandolin pretty thin. Remember my rule of thumb when using a mandolin, once you start feeling a little nervous and scared, just stop. It'll be much safer that way. Now what we want to do is bread these up. So start by taking some of the onions, break them up, and then coat them completely in the egg and milk mixture. We're going over to the flour. Very well, you want to dredge these, get them completely coated. We want that nice crisp brown outside when frying them up. I like to set them to the side on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper until they're all finished being coated up. We're heading over to a pan. I got a cast iron skillet here at around 350 degrees. If you don't have one, just put a little onion in there. As it starts to fry up, boom, we're in good shape. Now what we want to do is do this in batches, but honestly, they're only going to cook for a minute or two. We have plenty of time while those green beans are in the oven staying warm. After about 30 seconds or so, come back, use a spoon, mix them around, and then we're going to set them to the side on a cookie sheet tray lined with paper towels.
Yes, fine, yes. You can use those pre-made fried onion straws you get at the grocery store if you want to save some time, but you know me, I'm all about homemade food from scratch. You know what's in it. Plus, it just takes the flavor to a whole other level. And you get to learn the technique. Imagine these fried onion straws on top of a bacon cheeseburger with a little bit of barbecue sauce. Dude, incredible, right? It's about applying these techniques over and over and over again so you get that practice. You will become a better home cook, better home chef. You name it, my friends. You are going to be incredible by doing these. Now, let's finish off these green beans with those onion straws.
Take it out of the oven. Looks fantastic. They've cooked a little bit more. Totally perfect. Absolutely delicious green beans. Generously top off the top with those fried homemade onion straws. Oh my gosh, is this so good. If you love this recipe and learned something, absolutely like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Check out this video right here. I made it just for you. I promise I'll see you on there. Let's get in this.